I were single when all this shit went down.
Oh, no.
Oh, you hit the jackpot. Like literally right in that window. You were like snuck in, like snatched it up.
Because legitimately the thought of touching a stranger right now, which first of all is gross to me anyways.
Again, on a regular day. No, thank you.
And there's no regular days right now. No regular days.
No.
People, you don't know where they've been.
Ugh. So now I'm like,
at all.
So now I have an STD and coronavirus. Thanks, Brad.
Brad's not
Thanks,
worth
Kyle.
it. Brad is not worth it. Oh, no. I mean, I've actually thought about that a lot. Like, I really want to know, like, what people are doing. What is dating like right now? Because I drive past restaurants. I can see people who I'm like, they're on a first date for sure.
Well, I know people who literally at the beginning of the pandemic, it was all over the apps. It was all over the apps. It exploded. Like the app usage exploded by like something crazy, like 800%. People were all over Tinder, Bumble, all that stuff. And it was all talk. And then slowly people started having the Zoom dates. That became the new big thing where people are like, I met him over Zoom. I have felt this great connection, like blah, blah, blah. And then it became like socially distanced park dates and shit like that. But now I'll tell you, the people that I know that are single, the friends that I have that are out there dating, they're just fucking again. It's
That's what I was
back
gonna
to
say.
normal.
There's no way
back
people
to
aren't
normal.
fucking. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You gotta fuck. It's tough, man. I'm so glad I'm not single right now. This world is not built for the single peoples. I feel bad.
No,
Sucks.
it's not. Like you think about like how isolated we feel without our friend group. Think about like, you know, as much as like it might get like stifling sometimes to be in a 1-bedroom apartment in California with your significant other. And another part, I'm just like so thankful. Like, what if you had to do it on your own? So it's, yeah. It's
well. Speaking of crazy pandemic things, I'm looking for a job, as I have been for quite a while. But I actually have been talking to this company for a while, and they sent me this thing. It was a link to like do like a personality test and it was like 3 different tests that I had to do online. And I was like, I literally joked with the girl who sent it to me. I was like, I haven't taken a test that wasn't related to BuzzFeed and I don't know how long. I was like, I can't wait to find out which Sex and the City character I am. I was like, this.
You know what? Okay, that's so funny that you bring that up because Your Angry Neighborhood Feminist, my other podcast, we just put out an episode on Sex and the City. We did a whole episode on Sex and the City, and it made me, I was like, look, there's a lot of problematic things with that show. Okay, we can acknowledge that. And also at the same time realize that it's an entertaining show. And
also
restarted it.
groundbreaking.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
at the time.
For its time.
Absolutely. That was the whole thing, was like, we can acknowledge that it was both a feminist milestone and also look back on it through the lens of 2020 and all we've learned culturally and know that there were a lot of really big issues with this show.
Yeah. And in that way, it shows us like, oh, holy shit, we have made a step forward.
Look how far we've come.
Look how far we come, because that whole storyline wouldn't exist like today, you know, that kind of thing.
This is so funny because it also ties in with the story that I'm going to tell later, my worst date story. But I rewatched, I've restarted Sex and the City, and man, I love that show. Like, it's got so many issues, but that show is so fun.
I did too. I had like the box set. Like, I loved that show when it was out, and I haven't rewatched it in quite a number of years. Forever. But yeah, it'd be interesting to revisit it again, like recently in a 2020
There are some things that are cringe, like major cringe, right? But like, for the most part, as long as you're watching it with the knowledge that this was something that came out in 1998, you know, like if you're looking through it with that lens, then it's okay. You're giving it that kind of like grace of something that came out a long time ago. We talk about this all the time in our Crazy in Love movie episodes. Romantic comedies in like the 90s, the 2000s.
Yes.
Trial.
All
On
comedies,
trial.
to be honest. Yeah, all of them should go straight to jail. Do not pass go. All of them
Do
are
not
bad.
collect $200, whatever you do.
There's like a 90s movie. What is it? And I think it has Ryan Reynolds in it where they like eat donuts full of like dog jizz.
Excuse me?
Wait,
Oh,
what?
Waiting? Is it Waiting?
Ew.
I don't know. It's like something like that where I'm just like, oh my God, did we really watch this? Did
The bro
Gross.
comedy of the early 2000s is criminal. Like,
Ugh.
I'm Phoebe Judge and this is
criminal.
Like, the stuff, why we were like this, I have no idea.
So
to
bad.
be honest, like, looking back at the early 2000s, and I'm sure every generation feels this way, but because it was my formative years, my early like high school, right?
Aw.
Like it. Looking back, I'm like, what was happening? And
somebody
the way that
put pen to paper was like licked the pen and was like, and then, and I'm
a
like,
masterpiece. They're like, mwah, a masterpiece.
Dude, where's my car?
what Starbucks let you do that?
I don't know, my dude. Like, I don't know. And like looking back at the fashion of that time,
Oh.
I'm like, we actively
Lord.
scorned the 80s. Like, we looked back at the 80s as like
fuck you.
me in 2003 was like looking back at the 80s, talking to my mom and being like, I can't believe you guys looked so ridiculous. Meanwhile,
And
I
then-
have a dress over jeans.
Jeans.
Oh, yes.
I was just
Yes.
gonna say that. I
Or a
was just
slip
gonna say
as
that.
a dress.
Well, let me tell
Oh, wait,
you,
that was the 90s.
my senior pictures,
Oof.
I am wearing a dress. I am wearing a t-shirt with a dress over it with jeans under the dress.
Yep.
It is a
Yep.
nightmare scenario. Like, and we were like,
This
high
tracks.
fashion. I look like Lizzie McGuire. This is amazing. Horrifying.
It's true. It's so true.
It's true. You actually brought up a very big moment of trauma for me, and it
Ooh. Triggered.
is my cousin is 6 months older than me, and my cousin would get like these crazy, what I called like fashionable in those times. She would get like the dress over jeans presents from Christmas from my grandma, and my grandma would always get me books and
Oh
shit.
no.
Wow. Rude.
There's nothing like your grandma telling you that like you're the smart one. Like that's what it that's the message it sends,
You're
right?
not
like,
the cute one. You're
she's
the
the pretty one.
Yep.
And you're the smart one.
Yep.
Is the message it sends. I'm not
Yep.
saying it's true, but that's
Oof.
the feeling you get.
Oh yeah,
when that
and it was
happens.
loud and clear, and I was like, "Wow,
Thanks, Nana.
wow." So yeah, the dress over jeans thing. I specifically remember that Christmas, that specific Christmas, like crystal clear. I can see the outfit. I can see the box that she opened and everything.
Oh no, it left like a full on imprint. You're having like a Christmas PTSD.
You're like,
terrible.
Thanks. Another Dune book.
I'm so happy.
Oh my god!
But you know what? Looking back though, maybe it was your grandma being like, you're more interesting. You have more value. I mean, that's a shitty thing to say. Like, as women who love like makeup and beauty and fashion, tons of value. I love all of those things. But you know what? Maybe it was like her way of being like, I see more promise for you.
And you know, here's the other thing. It could have also been the thing that she realized that I was like an avid reader, and it could have also been like
Yes.
She just
was
knows you.
giving me something that she knew I loved to do, but I don't know why it like really.
What if your
struck
cousin
me.
has a podcast and she's saying, my grandma only used to get me clothes.
My
and
grandma thought I was an idiot.
Exactly.
And my cousin Christina always got books. Like she was the smart one.
It's a grass is greener. It is. It's totally a grass is greener situation for sure.
All
But
this
man, yeah.
conversation is teaching me is that like it's got to be impossible to raise girls.
Oh, impossible. I have a question for you. When speaking of like things you would get for Christmas, my dad could get me an outfit, like clothes. He could buy me clothes and I'm like, yes. And I would love it no matter what. Like my dad could pick out clothes for me. My mom, who dresses impeccably, looks amazing all the time. She'd pick out shit for me and I'm like, thanks. Like,
Was it just because you had very different styles, or was it bad?
it just was never anything that I would wear. You know what I mean? Like, my dad just got my style more. Do you have like, did that ever happen with you? Like somebody who
No.
just got your style much more?
My parents never bought, like, we had like a back to school budget, but even that we went to private school, so like
I
we
see.
wore uniforms, so like
Yeah,
Most-
I feel like
most of our stuff was like hand-me-downs or whatever, but it wasn't such a big thing because everybody at school wore the same thing, which, by the
Right.
way, I definitely recommend. Like, honestly, as being like somebody that was super, super fucking poor, going to like a private school, like the fact that I could wear a uniform and at least blend in and not stand out is not being able to afford Abercrombie or Hollister or all that stuff
Oh my god.
took one anxiety off my plate. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Is Hollister still? Are those stores
Yeah.
still around? Are they?
They're owned by Limited Brands, which
my-
is in Columbus.
My
I
God.
am very surprised by that because I don't see anybody wearing those brands anymore. I also don't see anybody. My first.
We don't hang out with a lot of 13, 14, 15-year-olds. So
Well, but are they even wearing that? Because I feel like I would still see it on like TikTok, Instagram, etc. I don't see any of that shit. Like when I was a kid, like Abercrombie wearing something that actually said
Right.
Abercrombie or
Was-
Hollister on like across the boobs
Mhm.
was like a big deal.
right.
You know, and
Oh my
I don't
God.
see that stuff at all. Like my first 2-piece swimsuit was from Limited 2. And it was like, I was like 11 and it was like a big deal that it said Limited 2 on it. You know, like,
Right.
Mm.
but maybe that was also the time, like
Yeah.
brands
You
like
don't see
being
that
on your
in general
clothes were a
anymore,
big
right?
deal.
Like you don't see Tommy Hilfiger. I mean, obviously Tommy Hilfiger is still a thing, but you don't see it like written across the t-shirt anymore.
Yeah, maybe it was the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's cooler now to not show the brand. Also,
Mhm.
What was cooler
Whenever-
then? They brainwashed us into thinking that we should be doing your advertising for you. This is some
Mhm.
bullshit. I'm spending $55 on a polo t-shirt and I'm advertising for you. Go fuck yourself.
also,
And I'll
you
do it
guys-
proudly.
Do you guys ever think whenever I pass like a Hollister or an Abercrombie in a mall, like
Smells so
Ugh.
intense.
it smells like teenage pregnancy to me?
Ooh, it sure does. It's like the female version of Axe.
As somebody
Yes.
who was pregnant as
Yes.
a teenager, that is not how it
Yes.
smells.
It is the female version of Axe. You're
it really
dead
is.
fucking on,
And it
because that was my
wafts.
first perfume that I got.
I
and I
don't
saved up
know-
money to buy it. And it
Oh.
must
Oh.
have smelled atrocious
Mm.
to anyone
don't
around
know
me.
If there's somebody, because in the mall in Springfield, where I'm from, the Hollister, first of all, like looked like, I don't know what they were doing. There was so much bamboo involved. Like it looked like a tiki hut or something. Like I don't know what was happening there.
Yes.
And the entrance in this mall in the middle of the Midwest. And then I don't know if they Hollister was kind of like catty corner from Abercrombie. So if you crossed that intersection,
Oh.
the colliding, clashing sense from these two institutions, it was
Okay.
horrifying. And I don't know if somebody was sitting there like did they hire some 14-year-old to like
Yeah,
spritz?
they always had people.
They
at the
had
doors.
to. They had they hired like 14-year-olds to like just stand there.
Hang
and
out in the front
also
door.
fuck, marry, kill Abercrombie, American Eagle, Hollister.
Oh Jesus
Oh
Christ.
Jesus! Kill, kill, kill.
Oh,
Oof.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cassie, I'm like, that's got to be impossible for you because I know you, Fort Hayes girl. You hate
I know what I'm gonna
all
do.
of it. All of
I know
it.
what I'm gonna do.
do.
I do. Okay,
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right.
Personally, I would have gone honorable mention Pac Sun because as
Cassie
someone from the
might have
Midwest,
married that one.
That one would have felt like fucking a surfer from California.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if we're doing American Eagle, Hollister, and Abercrombie, I am going to fuck Hollister.
Yeah. Oh God!
Because-
It's like feels like I'm fucking too low.
It's
Like I
terrible.
can't fuck somebody younger than me.
It's terrible,
Oh.
but it's you got to go with it. You got to roll with it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna fuck Hollister.
This
Um,
is 13-year-old.
Yes, I'm putting-
no,
I'm
let's
putting
age it up.
myself-
15-year-old you.
I'm putting
15-year-old you.
myself back in high school.
Okay.
Like, I mean, to be honest, I was a Hot Topic girl myself. I would not
Same.
have fucked any of these.
No, Forever 21 and Hot Topic all day.
But for the sake of this argument,
Yeah.
Do you remember Dots?
Yes.
What was that?
Is
What
that
was
a
that
regional
one? Cassie, do you remember Rave?
Yes.
Oh, we had a rave.
Girl, do you remember 579?
Yeah.
The only place I could find a
579.
00.
Oh God, 579.
579 was
prom dresses. Whoa.
Deb. Do you remember Deb?
Everything was satin. Like,
Yes.
Oh my God.
And it had like
Corset
bejeweled, like slightly bejeweled, like
What a
little
nightmare.
crystals.
So many appliques.
Ugh.
Like terrible.
Who
Oh my God,
decided
terrible.
that gems on the jean pockets was a good idea,
I
and then
had so
applied
many
it
of
to the
those.
guys thing?
Stop.
I had so
Horrible.
many jeans that had the more shit that was on my jeans. I bought a pair of jeans that had patches on them, like you bought them like that. Where
Oh,
it was like
no.
it's supposed to look like you had holes in your patches, and then it was like a Dolly Parton song, and they were just like fucking quilted sections.
Quilted jeans. You remember that? You would have like different patches
Shit,
of like
yes.
jeans.
Horrifying.
Patches were in for a
Horrifying.
second. I know exactly when patches were in because that was my kleptomaniac period of time when I was stealing shit. Because
I hear you.
I feel like
Players.
every woman goes through a klepto
Mm-hmm.
phase, and I'm like, for me, it was 7th grade, and I would steal fucking so much shit from Claire's and from Hot Topic and
Claire's,
stuff
for
like
sure.
that, and I would steal patches because patches were in.
I feel like Claire's let you steal things. Like I feel like
Right.
they knew what was happening, and they were just like, "Go on, my child. 'Tis a rite of passage." You know what I mean? Like, they
Take
were like,
those. Take those cubic zirconia
this is
earrings.
fine. Yeah. You know, for me, and I didn't steal them, but like for me, whenever I was in high school, it was buttons. Buttons were the big thing. And I still have like a shit ton of my buttons that I would like
love
just
buttons.
pin to stuff. I love them too.
Oh my God, can you do a YouTube where you unbox them when you go home?
Well, when
Please?
I go home, I have some of them at home still. I mean, I have some of them in my apartment here, but when I go home, I am going to bring home all of my notes from high school because I know where they are if my mom hasn't moved them. So I'm going to bring all of those home and get ready for some quality content.
I am
Wow.
so ready for
I feel
high
like I
school
should read
Keegan.
read some of my letters that I have.
You should. I mean,
High school.
listen, high school Keegan was a full mess. It was a nightmare situation.
I have high school poems.
Oh,
Oh.
God. You know what? I do too. Oh, shit.
I have a couple.
God.
Poetry corner with my worst.
Oh,
no!
Oh, it was bad.
Oh, no!
Oh, it was so bad.
I don't know.
My
I
mom
don't
said
know.
it was good, but she was probably lying.
Oh, mom! Oh no!
Ugh.
All right, fuck Mary
Okay,
Kill.
sorry,
Oof.
sorry. Back on track. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to fuck Hollister
Okay.
because
Okay.
I feel like of all of
It's
them,
the sexiest.
Hollister
It
is the
is.
sexiest.
Teenage sexiest.
Yes,
Ugh.
for sure.
Ugh.
I mean, there's definitely it's definitely a guy with frosted tips and a puka shell necklace.
Of
but-
course it is.
It's going to take like at least 4 showers before you wash that smell off of you.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna smell.
His
fully.
favorite movie is Dude, Where's My Car?
That's correct. And I would have been into
Pineapple
it
Express.
in middle school. Like by the time I was in high school, I was like too cool for Hollister dudes. But when I was in middle school, I would have thought that was really cool. So,
Yep.
yes, I'm going to go with that. I am going to marry American Eagle. Like, if you buy a pair of jeans from American Eagle, that shit is going to last you for a long time. Like,
It's
say what
sturdy.
you want. They're sturdy. They're solid. You got a good foundation with American Eagle. You can buy a pair of mom jeans that are going to fit well and they're going to make it through like the next 4 to 5 years. So you're good there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to marry American Eagle. I'm going to kill Abercrombie because Abercrombie was... I feel triggered by Abercrombie.
Clearly.
I
I
do
hear
too.
it coming.
I do too. I'm actually getting angry talking about
Yeah, I
Abercrombie.
feel warm. I feel like I'm sweating. Like my face is getting hot.
Wow.
Like Abercrombie was the source of so much angst for me. And by the time I got into high school and I was fully into my goth Hello Kitty, Hot Topic phase, not American Eagle. Abercrombie and people who wore Abercrombie, they represented everything that I didn't want to represent. So
You were like, I want to
have-
be anti this.
Yes. So I have a lot of animosity towards Abercrombie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and just take them out. We're going to take them out. They don't need to exist.
Well, I feel like Abercrombie is the live, laugh, love of the group.
For teenagers.
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
teenagers.
Everyone I went to high school with who rocked nothing but Abercrombie, those women, they all have live, laugh, love
Yep.
in
Yep.
their houses now. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to be the same as you, and I'm going to kill Abercrombie. I am going to marry Hollister.
Oh,
There-
of course
there
you are.
is a little bit of a danger. There's a little bit of a, I don't know why there's a little bit of
you're
a
gonna
bad
get arrested.
boy
The FBI is
vibe
listening.
to Hollister.
Hollister of these three, Hollister is the most like maybe a skater boy might actually step foot into a Hollister, right?
Yeah.
Like he might deny it, but there would be stuff in there that he would be somewhat interested in.
He might pick up something cool that was Hollister that was like at the Goodwill. Like, you know what I mean? From a couple seasons back. So like Hollister, I feel like is somebody that I'm just like, we would, I don't know. There's just something bad boyish about it.
Christina, you insist on choosing
I know. Every
the
time.
one that is going to ruin your life.
Every time. Every
I
time.
learned
literally-
nothing.
You're like, you've learned nothing. She's like, can I take care of you for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Are you still living in your mother's basement? I'm sold. I'm
Perfect.
into it.
Do you need me to pay your bills? I
Do
can
you
do
have a
it
job?
to fund
Yes.
your
No.
music career. I'm
Yes.
here for it.
Oh, it's your dream to own
Hollister
a van?
plays bass.
Yes. Oh, god damn. Christina.
I know.
I'm a little concerned.
I know. The heart wants what it wants.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
American Eagle, you know what? I'm gonna fuck American Eagle. I am. I'm gonna. It's
That is-
sturdy, solid.
The
as
apple
a rock,
pie here.
You know, I'm just like, I feel like we could grab a few Pabst Blue Ribbons at like
Brewskis?
a fucking Killers concert and just
Some
fucking
brewskis
go
with
to
the
town.
brewskis.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you would date American Eagle. That's what would happen. You would date American Eagle and then you would
I'd
cheat
get
on him with
bored.
Hollister.
Exactly. Keegan. Oh my God. It's like, you know me. You're in my head right now.
Wow. Well, I hate all of this. And as somebody, as a teenager who would never buy anything off the rack at all. I mean, like, honestly, me as a teenager,
No,
like, I was full on
Goodwill
thrift store.
all the way. All the way. Same.
I mean,
Same.
I wore men's corduroy jeans with a, chain wallet and a, like a, what are the white shirts with the, what are those called? The thermal shirts?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
With
I know
like
what
a
you're talking
band
about.
concert
Mhm.
t-shirt over it. Like that was my wardrobe. Like that was my absolute wardrobe. I literally I was probably the cheapest teenager you could have ever had because I never was somebody, even I will tell you, even at when it came to prom, my very first prom I was a freshman and it was a thrift store dress and I got 1,000 compliments on it. And I went even my junior year I borrowed my friends because we went to two different proms. So, and homecomings. And so I wore her one homecoming dress to my home prom and then we switched off. I mean, I just, this is so not me, but okay. So if I got to come to it, here's what I'll say. I am going to marry Abercrombie.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And here's why.
What?
Because
I'm
I think,
appalled.
well, they're a Columbus company, and so I'm down for my hometown heroes. Hollister too. But here's the thing. I think that they have good quality things. I bought my son Minnie an Abercrombie item that lasted him almost his entire high school career. And probably still could own them if he was the same size as he was in high school because like the quality was great.
You're right about that. Yeah.
He is going to be a banker when he's older. I do feel there's part of me that he's going to turn into American Psycho with a real thick, like business
Yeah.
card.
Oh.
But I'm going to take my chances and take my money and run at some point. I am going
I like it
to.
that you picked the one most likely to murder you potentially.
Yeah. But I'm
Like, you're
leaving.
like-
Notice I'm leaving that. I'm going to fuck Hollister, even though I don't want to, even though I feel like it skews a little too young for me. I'm going to have that one wild night and walk away and probably have sand in my ass crack for a month.
Yeah, Hollister fucks on the beach for sure.
Oh, it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm actually probably not going to even enjoy it. And I'm just going to, but it's just going to
try to like finger you in the hot tub.
Oh,
you know? And you're like,
he's going to try to fuck me in a hot tub. And I'm going to be like, no. No, this isn't comfortable.
I've had sex in a hot tub.
I know it's not fun.
It's not great.
It's
no.
not fun.
Having sex in a body of water just period is.
And then I'm going to kill American Eagle. And here's why. That is, it is the most Applebee's jacked up truck, pick 'em up truck shit ever. I'm sorry.
You're
like,
right.
I
You're
think
right.
of American Eagle as like, I think of it as that.
The
I'm gonna
Chili's.
leave it there.
The Chili's.
It's not even as good as Chili's. It is. It's kind of like Cheddar's. What's
I
up?
feel like, first of all, I love Cheddar's, so there's that. But I feel like I had a different relationship.
Well, you're different times, right?
Yeah,
different ages.
Yeah, I think I had a different relationship with American Eagle. Like, American Eagle was kind of like more expensive. Like, okay. Did you guys,
I think Abercrombie was the most expensive for sure.
Did you guys ever have a buckle?
Yes.
Buckle.
I feel like for me,
I love
American Eagle was close. Whenever I was in school, American Eagle leaned more buckle aesthetic, whereas like Hollister and Abercrombie were more similarly like preppy aesthetic. You know, I don't know. But I respect your opinion. I will say I got triggered when you said you were going to marry Abercrombie, but I understand where you're coming from.
It was tough for me. I'm not going to lie, because I hate all of them. I hate them all.
Yeah, same as a 13-year-old. It was everything I aspired to be. It seemed like the pinnacle of success, and now at 38, I'm just like, like.
It's so
I
funny.
wish
It just wasn't me, but I was
more time being an individual.
I think that there is, this is where like being Zennial, we kind of fall in that middle. This is that real true Gen X of me. Like my fashion style, the music I was listening to, that part of me is very Gen X-y in that way, which is that it was very anti-establishment. It was very like, you're not going to sell me your fancy clothes with names on it bullshit. We're going to I'm just going to look as dowdy and And then the thing was too, what is so funny is like, you see like fashion labels who are trying to like basically emulate shit that you would get at the thrift store and make it popular. You know what I mean? Like, like thermal shirts and like, plaid, you know, like
everything in Kanye West's line is like, looks like it rolled around in dirt and got cut up. But I feel like a very old lady saying that. That's what my grandma used to say about my patchwork jeans. So
yeah, no, we all get old and age out of fashion. But yeah, like for me, I just as somebody that just wanted so badly to just fit in, and part of that too is the whole like just the way that I look different too. I think that was part of it. Was that
was me in middle school for sure.
Yeah, where
slick back ponytails and wearing my friends' hand-me-down Abercrombies because we couldn't afford our own. I had a friend whose parents were divorced, and they would both buy her stuff. And so she ended up with like an excess of clothes. And so she would give them to me. And so it was like the only Abercrombie I ever owned in middle school whenever I was still like trying really hard to fit in. And I was like, oh, thank God I have like this one item of clothing. It was like a polo shirt that was blue striped. Oh my God. I remember exactly what it looked like.
I think that's my point. It's not that I'm saying that there's anything wrong with it. I just feel very lucky that when fitting in really was actually like anti, you know what I mean? Like you were actually not cool if you were trying.
You went to an alternative high school.
I mean, I did and didn't. Like my regular high school I went to for 2 years, and then I went to the joint vocational school, which was cosmetology school, and then I had to wear a uniform. But when I didn't, ask me how many times I had to turn a shirt that said something inside out. They're like, you can't wear that. And I had to fucking t-shirt that was like from a baseball league, and it was like grandma's ice cream, and it said "lick it and love it" on the back. And the number of times I had to turn that shirt inside out.
Not today. Not in the Midwest. We don't do that here. Sorry about that. We don't do that here. Okay, well, that was a fun one. Actually, that took me straight down a walk down memory lane. I'm having a lot of recovered memories that I'm gonna have to suppress later. Gonna have to stomp those down. But we have a new patron.
Yes.
So I want to give a big shout out to Donna Harrison. Welcome to our Patreon family. We are so excited to have you. If you have suggestions for anything that you want us to put up on Patreon, if there are questions that you want answered, we haven't done an Ask Me Anything on Patreon in a while. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask us, we would love to answer them. You know where to find us. Send us an email, hit us up on Patreon, and we will have your rewards out to you soon.
Soon.
Also, this is My Worst Date podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
Hey.
Hey.
You guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Yes. And we're back.
Yeah.
All right, Cass.
All right, I'm going to lead us off with stories. So this story came to us from an email, and I'm not going to lie, I super fucking love it. It's pretty fucking hilarious. All right. As a serial monogamist, I have no one-off bad date experiences. Instead, I glued myself to men and made multiple attempts to polish turds.
Hi.
Call me a dung beetle, because I rolled this one around for a while.
Look, I'm the same way. It's like if I make a bad choice, I'm committed to that bad choice for
Forever.
a while.
Same.
I was in my mid-20s and was tired of dating man children. I latched on to this guy because he was smart, tall, owned multiple pairs of pants. Things seemed pretty
Owned multiple pairs of pants. The bar is on the floor.
I love it. Things seemed good at the start, and I felt like I was finally in an adult relationship. Boy, howdy, was I wrong. I didn't know what negging was at the time, so I thought he was just poking fun at me. Every time he would throw out one of these, quote, jokes, he would do it in a baby voice to soften the blow.
Ew.
Okay, you've just combined two things that I don't like.
Yep.
So you've combined negging, which is some bullshit.
Yep.
I wonder what year this story took place, because that feels very much pickup artisty. Like they watched that show and they were like, this is what you do to get women. And then 2, you're negging me in a baby voice?
Okay.
No,
No,
sir.
I don't like that at all. Like it's actually taken me quite some time to get used to like how much Eric compliments me. Where I'm like,
Aw.
what do you want?
Oh my God, you're me. Stop being me.
So
Be Christina.
weird.
Stop
it's
being
so
me.
weird because I'm just like, oh, people are actually nice. But yeah, that's the whole
That's
like
awesome.
2000s. We're so accustomed to people negging. It's so weird.
Since I was naive, I thought he was giving me constructive criticism to make me into a better person.
All right. I again, sorry to keep interrupting you. I
It's your
also
favorite.
don't need your constructive criticism, sir. That is not what I'm in this relationship for. There's a way to like have a relationship where you can make each other better and have conversations and like grow together. But anybody who's like giving, what is this? Like a project review? Like I don't need your constructive criticism.
Right.
I hate that. I wouldn't like that even if that was what he was doing.
A performance review.
Yes.
About 6 months into dating, his dad came from out of town to visit and invited us to dinner. At the time, I was dyeing my hair fun colors and had let it fade from a bright blue to a seafoam green. Not exactly professional, I know, but I figured it would be totally okay to meet this man. I mean, he dated girls younger than me from what my boyfriend told me.
I'm about to get mad. I know it. I feel it in my soul.
About a week before we were going to meet him, my boyfriend whips out the baby voice and says he'd appreciate it if I dyed my hair normal because I looked immature and trashy. And his dad was, quote,
trashy?
kind of conservative. Proof that I did. Oh, she did send a picture, by the way. And it is not trashy at all. It's super cute.
Also, like I'm not dating your dad. I'm dating you.
Okay.
So maybe be a big boy and stand up for your choices. If you like somebody, I would never ask someone to change who they are. Like
Also, yeah, that's just the key that he's low key thinking that. Because
That's right.
that's the
That's
thing
exactly
is
right.
if he loved it, he wouldn't
He wouldn't give a
fucking
shit.
say dick. He would stand up for her to his dad.
That's
but
right.
Obviously,
He's using his
he
dad
was
as an
having
excuse.
those feelings. He's exactly.
My dumbass went along with it and spent the fucking salon money, which I take total offense to as a salon person, as a hairstylist. Worth it. We are worth our money.
No, but it's not that. It's that
please
like
him and
this
his dad.
is not money that she would have put out because that shit isn't cheap.
No.
And I'm not saying it should be cheap. I'm just saying that like if you're going to put out that kind of money, if I as a grown ass fucking woman, if I'm putting out that kind of money, I'm getting what I want. Period.
Exactly.
Like I'm getting what I
Mhm.
want. I don't give a fuck what you want
True.
because I'm going to leave here spending over $100, so I'm getting what I want. Like that's that.
Well, this kind of thing went on for a while, and I started getting fed up. Being a hard-headed person, though, I kept dating him, but it got grumpier and grumpier. He must have picked up on this because not long after, he told me he was ready to open up to me about something serious.
Okay.
He went to his dresser, pulled out a box from his drawer that he had always hidden from me.
No.
He said this was a part of him he didn't share with everyone.
Okay,
Because-
first and foremost, I gotta say for a fucking fact, if you had a dresser or a drawer in my place, if we were sharing a place and you were like, I don't share this with anybody, I'm
You do
gonna
as
be
soon as you leave.
completely honest with you. I opened
Already
that
saw
shit the first day you moved in. I
Already
did.
saw it. Already saw it. Already saw it.
Already saw it.
Man.
Already texted all my friends about what it means.
Took
I'm sorry.
pictures.
I'm nosy as a motherfucker.
Same.
Oh.
You ain't got private shit.
See, I wouldn't. I
Oh,
wouldn't
psh,
do it.
I would. This is a private part of him that he doesn't share with everyone because not a lot of people would understand. So I was special. He opened it up, and at first I was confused. I thought, I had one of those when I was growing up. When I was 5, it was a My Little Pony horse. Turns out,
That's not what I was expecting.
nope. Turns out my man was a brony.
No.
He had toys, posters, memorabilia from conventions, etc.
And he should have liked the seafoam green hair. I don't understand.
I kind of sat there all dumb for a while. He said most people wouldn't understand. Being a compassionate person that I tried to be, I wanted to support him. And being the idiot that I was, I figured he had poked fun at me being because he had this secret. So all this time, he's like been nagging her about every little thing because he's got this little brony secret.
Okay,
of
that
his.
sounds like your problem,
Right.
sir.
And now we would be happier and live in a rainbow happy land, just like the ponies did.
No.
Well, yeah, no, that didn't happen. As
Nope.
you can imagine, the negging kept happening. And at one point I had enough. I broke up with him, but had to live together for another 2 months before I could finally move out.
Oh, that's the worst.
Ugh. Around the time when we split up, I started a new job, started to build a circle of close girlfriends that had my back and would not let me repeat this mistake again. This rant has gone long enough, and I'm out of wine. So the end. Thanks for reading my story, and I'm sure I'll be fueled up for more soon. You guys are rad, and I'm happy I've become a patron. I started at the beginning of the podcast and making my way to the present. It's been a real treat. I listened to you while playing Animal Crossing to make it through this year.
I love
And
Animal
now-
Crossing.
And now I associate that game with murder and shame receipts. Thank you for all the laughs.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God. Okay, and I do want to clarify. Look, like what you like.
Thank you.
Do what
Exactly.
you do. If
Yeah.
you're into My Little Pony and like that's your thing, you're not hurting anybody.
No.
Nope.
Do what you want. But you're not allowed to use your deep-seated insecurities to put somebody else down ever. Just own your
Amen.
shit.
Yeah.
Own your shit.
And also,
I have a
like,
question.
you're not
You
as
went to
weird or unique as you think you are, dude. We
Truth.
were rewatching Schitt's Creek
Love
last
it.
night before bed because I'm getting ready for season 6 to drop on Netflix. And
When is that dropping? Sorry, sidebar.
oh my
Do you know?
god, I don't
last season, right?
remember
Yeah, but it
off the
hasn't
top
dropped
of my
yet
head
In
because
the US.
I'm so ready for it. I fucking
Me
love
too.
that show. It's my favorite show. And Alexis at one point in like season 3 or whatever is like tells David, nobody cares about you as much as you think they do. And it's such a fucking life lesson. And it's like your deep-seated secret about liking My Little Pony isn't that interesting or that deep.
No, you're right. Like, that's the thing. This is something that a friend told me, speaking of kleptomania. I'm not gonna out her, but she was saying that because she was going through her klepto phase, and I was like, aren't you like nervous or whatever? And she's like, here's the thing. No one is ever you think people are looking at you all the time. No one is ever looking at you. Everyone is so concerned about who is looking at them. It's the same thing like when you're in a yoga class. Like, you're so worried that you're doing something wrong and people are judging you. But 9 times out of 10, everyone in that class
feels the same way you do.
Feels the same way. Yep. And they're so focused on themselves that nobody is paying attention to you, sir.
No one.
They don't care.
And deep-seated brony.
Right.
Like no one cares,
I mean, and there's a whole documentary about it, so you're not that unique.
Obviously. The funny thing is, too, is that, like, what I found, like, I think... Wait, so you have, like, it's a secret that you go to conventions? Like, how are you hiding all this? Like,
yeah, he keeps them in a private folder on his desktop.
But how is
he never posts them anywhere, or he has a secret Facebook page.
How is he going to a convention without, like, people knowing?
He's like, I'm gonna. He has a work conference.
Yep,
true.
Yep. I was just gonna say, and there's like a folder on his desktop. This is like taxes 2017.
Yes.
All right, this one I got from Reddit, and it says, years ago, I got invited to attend a workmate's wedding.
Okay. I love fucking wedding stories on Reddit. Oh, this is the best.
I love it.
This is the best.
As I was single at the time, but didn't really want to attend this solo, I thought I'd bring a date. So, Keegan, what would I just want to know what you think of somebody that brought this date to your wedding.
I can't
Keep
wait.
this in mind.
Okay. Yes, keeping it in mind.
Couple weeks before this, I met this banging chick at a party. We hooked up a couple of times. So, hey, wanna come?
Also, okay, question for you guys. If you had just slept with a guy a couple times and he asked you to go to a wedding with him, would you go?
I don't know. Depends on how good the sex is.
That's loaded. Here's a flip side.
I love
of the coin.
dressing up.
I really do too.
If I had slept with a guy a couple of times and I was invited to go to a wedding, I would not bring them. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, it's a poor choice on the person's part. If you just slept with somebody for like a couple of times and you're going to bring them to somebody's life-changing, really important moment.
Yeah, you don't know them like that. Like,
have you been out drinking with this person?
People get weird at weddings too. Yeah. Like, people get real weird. People's insecurities come up at weddings and things like that. So, okay, continue. Sorry.
We arrived there in the evening, all dressed up, and the first thing she did was go in a straight line to the bar for some white wine.
I mean, okay.
Not
same.
a bad.
I mean,
same.
Like, I can't judge her. I probably would be doing. I don't know anybody. I've got social anxiety. Okay, like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get a little loose.
She downed the first glass in one go, along with something else. She apparently brought her stash of drugs along, and began popping pills left and right.
Oh no!
All with copious amounts of white wine.
I'm sorry.
Oh no! Did she die?
Dude,
good question.
I'm just, if I'm watching somebody do this at somebody, like a friend of mine invited me to a wedding and I brought a friend, my anxiety would be through the roof because I'm watching them do this and I'm like,
you're not at a wedding anymore.
I don't know this person and I don't know what the fuck they're going to do at this point. Yeah, exactly. You're on date watch.
Here's the thing. I'm not here to drug shame anybody. Like, there are lots of people who take drugs recreationally.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we're gonna take shit at your wedding.
That's the plan.
Doy.
However, it's not, just full disclaimer in case I have family listening. But I'm not here to whatever. But you can't. Drugs are unpredictable.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
You can't do it at an event like this, and you certainly can't do it mixing it with alcohol. I'm going to sidebar really fast because this triggered a memory for me.
Cocaine.
No. No.
Kick in.
No.
Kick in?
So whenever I was when I went and did like the first venue tour for my wedding venue, and we were talking to the guy who was like the event manager or whatever, he was telling us, he was like, you guys, he was really cool. He was like not a regular event planner. He was like a cool event planner. You know what I mean? And so he was basically like, he's like, yeah, man, like you guys can do whatever you want. Just like if things get too crazy, you know, we're going to have to shut shit down. And so I was like, well, give me an example of a time when things got really crazy.
Yes.
And he was like, there was one wedding that I worked at where the maid of honor,
I can't wait.
the maid of honor took shrooms before the ceremony.
No.
She took shrooms before the ceremony and then got so fucked up that the bride, she freaked out. She had like a complete meltdown. She had to like go upstairs, and then the bride left her own reception to go upstairs because it's her maid of honor, so it's like her best friend.
Fuck her.
She left. Exactly. I'm like, I'm sorry, this is my wedding. You made a choice to do drugs at my wedding.
Right.
So she went up. She spent the entire night. She missed her whole reception because she was like trip sitting her best friend, and then they had to call an ambulance.
First of all,
See, that's
first
the
of all,
thing. That's
first
what
of
I'm
all,
talking
we
about.
would never allow you to do that. I don't give a shit if it's okay. Like you have one bridesmaid who is not like part of our regular friend group because she lives in Springfield. I never in a gazillion years could imagine her being the person that did this.
She would never.
However, you were the closest person to this person. Not one of us girls would allow you to leave your fucking
what I'm
reception.
Saying. I'm like,
Right.
who was
Never.
around her that they were like, this is fine, that she's and also because it's the venue for my wedding, I know how expensive it is, and I'm like, bitch, if I'm spending this much money on a day, you better believe I'm gonna let you sort that shit out on your own. Like,
Yep.
Exactly.
In that haunted upstairs, bitch, by yourself.
My venue
Good
is
luck.
haunted. It is.
And
But anyway,
also, like, I gotta be honest, like, you know, I'm pretty like, there's just no way if I'm close to somebody that I would even risk something like that. Do you know what I mean? Where I would
see how
not want you to have the most perfect day ever. And if I thought for a second, because I have a shame receipt about the wedding. I've talked about the time I almost killed somebody. Or
maybe you did.
We don't.
We don't know.
It was like getting way too drunk on an open bar tequila at a wedding. And I'm like, I ended up in a bathtub in their in-laws' house. And I don't know if I killed somebody. So I'm like, that is what that person has to deal with about their wedding day. They were like, hey, remember when that fucking random chick who just, you know, did this thing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it haunts me to this day. That is a shame receipt.
And I can't imagine that the relationship between that maid of honor and bride recovered, because I would harbor resentment, even though it was my choice to go and like be with them. I would harbor resentment for the rest of my life
forever
that they put me in
Absolutely.
that situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and
Because you can't make up for that in any way.
Yeah, is drugs are an unpredictable choice for an event such as this.
Also,
don't do it.
Do not bring a stranger, because even if you've banged somebody not twice but thrice, you do not know what they're like at a wedding. You don't.
We talked about that holiday party. That story stuck with me, and they'd gone on several dates, and that bitch still destroyed that man's like entire work life in one night.
He had to move to a different country and everything.
Lord.
Just think twice before you invite somebody to a big fucking event is all we're saying.
Amen.
So
Okay.
So she had her first glass. She popped pills. This already made me uncomfortable, to say the least. As the evening progressed, she began harassing other people at the party. And by doing...
Security.
Exactly.
Listen, groping me constantly, trying to get me to allow her to suck my dick in the middle of the dance floor.
No.
I'm sorry. Listen, where are we?
No.
Because only once have I ever gone to like a club. Like I went to Booty LA one time and we were dancing and there was a used condom on the floor.
No.
And I was horrified then. So I can't imagine like in front of
At your
grandma,
wedding.
like all of your great aunts and uncles, like in front of every family member and God, you are going to fuck on the dance floor.
Yep.
No. She's going to get down on her knees and
I'm sorry. I
suck
blocked that
your
part out.
dick.
That is even worse somehow.
Gross.
How is that worse?
It is worse. It is worse. It is worse because I feel like you could hide a dress up, hide a lot of sins.
Just look like you're
but you
grinding.
can't fucking hide being on your goddamn knees, sucking a D.
And like, what does she think? Like, he's just gonna whip it out? Like, this is fine.
I think she can't help it. You were playing Pony by Genuine.
I just blew the speakers. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
My dog. No
Oh.
way.
I'm fucking crying right now.
No way.
Oh, this is horrible. I hate this.
Okay, I went out for a smoke with the groom to apologize and think about how I can salvage this and get her the fuck out of there. When I came back inside, I find her riding this chair elevator thing for elderly / disabled people up and down while shouting profanities at people with a glass in one hand and heels in the other.
I mean, I have to say, listen, she sounds terrible. But if I had not dropped like $20,000 on this event, if I was just a guest at this wedding, like, we
if I was a guest,
fun.
we would be cracking up.
we
If
would be
were just
vacuuming
guests.
that dance floor.
Oh my God. You guys, we would have champagne flutes just sipping, watching this bitch go up and down the stairs. It would be amazing.
Also, part of me wants to get on it.
I mean, kind of. You can't have something like that around drunk
my
people and not expect
God.
somebody to want to go for a ride. But, I mean, to answer your question, if this was my wedding, that bitch would have been kicked out already.
Oh my god, are you
I
kidding
have
me?
black uncles. They would have kicked her out like they would have kicked her out in the first hour. Come on. Stop.
Riding one of those chairlifts. I can't.
No. What I love is that she's got a drink in one hand and her
It's
heels
so
in the
slow.
other because it's so
Slow. The thing is just slow.
He says, I picked her up out of the chair, threw her over my shoulder, and put her in my car and burned
That's
rubber
so
to get out of there.
embarrassing.
Oh my
It's so embarrassing because now this is what everyone at that wedding thinks of you.
Everyone
they're like,
remembers
this is who you
only
date.
that from the wedding, too.
I'm also like, I don't know who she's at. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do you guys a favor and get rid of
You
her, though.
brought her.
I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I'm going to do you guys a favor. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to go and grab this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know who she is. I'm just going to get rid of her.
Yep. Dropped her off, told her we weren't seeing each other anymore, and sent a text to the now married couple apologizing profusely for any drama caused.
Oh,
So
there
you
was
go.
drama caused. Drama was caused. Oh man. I mean,
Wow.
look, I mean, I would hate it, but also, like, at least you have a story about your wedding.
The wedding should be the story.
I mean,
it
true,
shouldn't be
but
some
you're like,
fucking fucked up chick
you
is
know.
riding the fucking.
Better than Shrooms Girl. At least the bride didn't spend all
True.
of her day, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's somebody that was like drunk riding a chairlift shouting profanities at your grandma.
But that's kind of hilarious. I mean, not if it was at my grandma because I'm highly protective, but you know. Okay. When I was 22, I decided I was far too grown up and mature to be dating men my own age.
Same girl, same.
As a 31-year-old woman, can I just say LOL? Yes,
Yes,
you
you
can.
can.
Because I feel like we've had a string of stories like this where like young women are like, I need to date someone who has their shit together. And it's like, oh.
Yeah,
cute.
someone that
Honey.
doesn't have a Crown Royal bag like on their nightstand.
They keep shit in their Crown Royal bag. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe or maybe I didn't carry one as a person. You don't know me.
Get out of my life. Up until this point, I had mostly met prospective suitors the old-fashioned way on MySpace. But Tinder was
I
fairly
spit my
new,
wine.
and I wanted to give it a try. So I adjusted my settings and matched with a good-looking 35-year-old. Let's call him Jay. Jay worked in finance, and his profile was mostly pictures of him in what looked to my 22-year-old eyes to be very expensive suits. He described himself as, quote, protective and, quote, an alpha male.
Hate it.
I don't like that at all.
Sounds like you're a controlling dickhead who I'm going to have to get a fucking restraining order against later.
That's right. Which I now know is a huge red flag. Having grown up romanticizing 90s rom-coms, I didn't think much of it at the time. We didn't chat long before he started insisting we meet in person. He says he's a busy guy and likes to get down to business to determine if the match is a good fit. I kind of understood where he was coming from, so we set a date for that weekend and met up at a very swanky bar in downtown Austin. I was super excited. As a broke college student, I wasn't able to experience the finer things very often, so I pulled out all the stops. I had my girlfriends come over. One of them was going through cosmetology school at the time, and she gave me a full blowout, while my other friend did my makeup.
I love that.
It's so cute.
God,
I know.
so great.
It's so cute. Like, she's so excited about this date that she's like, you have to come over and help me get ready. Because she's going somewhere fancy as a 22-year-old. Like, that's so cute. I chose my hottest bandage dress. Hey, 2013.
Yes, Hervé Léger.
And platform heels. I looked hot, if I'm being totally honest.
Yes, you did.
I arrive at the bar 10 minutes early. He's not there yet. No worries. I'll take a seat at the bar and order a cocktail. 10 minutes go by, then 15, then 25. Eventually, a young man who introduces himself as David sits next to me and starts to make small talk. I'm bored, so I start chatting. Not 5 minutes later do I see a hand come down on the dude's shoulder, and there is my date. He does not look happy.
Half
the
an
way
hour
You're late.
off.
You're late.
Half an hour late.
Nah. The guy leaves, and my date sits down in a huff and orders a scotch. No greeting, barely looking at me. I decide to ignore it and just try to enjoy the night. Eventually, he gulps down half his drink, then he starts to warm up. Now he's all flattery, talking about how beautiful and interesting I am. It's not my fault guys are hanging around me like It's not my fault guys are hanging around me like flies, though he had some disparaging remarks for the man that he scared away. I eat up the compliments. I was a fool for flattery, and did I mention I'm 22? Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
same.
Of course. At this point, and this is what I was talking about earlier, at this point, I feel like the date is going swimmingly. This guy is giving me major Mr. Big in Sex and the City energy.
Whoa. Yes.
Which I have to say,
At 22,
yes,
I'd be like,
it was a
okay.
thing that was driven home to us that like we were supposed to think like this is the epitome of like hot and sexy. But again, upon rewatching the show, Mr. Big was a piece of shit. Like, he was such an asshole.
Yeah, 38-year-old me, and I think probably the vast majority of people is just like, Carrie, why did you fuck up Aiden?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
thank
just, like,
you.
Why did you end up with Mr. Big at all? Like, he treated you like
Aiden
just
was the one.
Aiden was
Disposable.
the best.
garbage for the entire like portion of your relationship. But anyway, again, I know now that that's not a good thing, but it seemed so grown up and fancy. I understand. We're getting cozier and cozier. I'm about 3 glasses of wine in, and he's got his hand on my leg when it looks like he sees something over my shoulder. He flashes a huge grin and asks if I'll excuse him to the restroom. I say, of course, and he leaves. When he's gone for 5 minutes, I don't think much of it. I order a 4th glass of wine, and I'm feeling tipsy as fuck at that point. When I finish that glass, he still isn't back. It's been a good 20 minutes.
Nah.
I'm starting to get side-eye.
He must have died.
Right? Did you fall in? Classic early 2000s joke. I'm starting to get side-eye from the bartender, and I'm sick of trying to save this man's bar stool in a super busy and cramped bar, so I decided to go looking for him. I think we can all We can all empathize with what that's like whenever you're in like a cramped place. And as someone,
and you're trying to save a seat.
With anxiety.
Yeah.
Like the one who's having to be like, I'm sorry, this seat's taken. I'm sorry, you can't sit here. Like, the worst.
Is the seat? Yes, it's taken. I'm sorry.
It's taken. I'm sorry.
He'll be right back. 20 minutes later, and you're still, that guy is still eyeing your seat.
That guy's looking at you like, I thought you said you were with somebody. What the fuck? I'm squeezing through the crowd. Hard to imagine in COVID times, but there was once a time when people were packed into establishments like sardines. I'm about to give up and go back to the bar when I spot him, leaning against the wall with a hot young woman under his arm. They're clearly flirting. She's got her hand on his chest, and his face is inches from hers. I'm gobsmacked.
And I'm left.
I watch as he leans in and they start full on making out.
Oh no, honey,
your date.
Child.
Fuck you.
That's right.
Drink throw, drink throw, drink throw.
I wish.
Drink throw.
Oh my God, I so fucking wish. I felt like I was hit in the face. I stumble back to the bar. By now my seat is taken and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm mortified. My embarrassment quickly turns to anger, though. I push my way to the bar and drunkenly wave the bartender over. I ask what his most expensive scotch is and order 5 shots on Jay's tab.
Yes! Even better than a drink throw.
That's right. Then,
unless she throws all those drinks at him.
All the shots, expensive shots that he paid for. Then I take the shots over to David's table and pass them out to him and his friends. We start chatting and have a good time. And long story short, I leave with David.
And they're married now.
I was way too drunk that night, and David didn't do anything but take me home and make sure I was okay. He took my phone and put his number in it and then left. The next day, I'm flooded with messages from an extremely angry Jay. I was too hungover to respond or call him out on his bullshit, so I blocked him on the app and went back to sleep. David texted me later in the day and to make sure that I was okay, and we ended up texting the whole day. He asked me out for the next weekend, and the rest is history. We got engaged. And planned a big wedding, but 2020 had other plans. We eloped last month, and it was perfect.
Oh my God! Best story ever! Oh my God.
Can we just end
Girl,
here? Because I don't want to ruin this.
Had everything.
Everything.
It had expensive shots, charged to a douchebag, true love. Everything. Oh,
I know.
So happy.
That's so sweet. She can thank that fucking asshole because that's fate. Like, isn't it amazing when you think about like the number of things that have to line up in your life for something to happen? Like, if she hadn't like upped her age on Tinder, if she hadn't gone on this date, if they hadn't gone to this bar, she never would have met her husband. That's crazy.
That is
wild. Incredible.
I love everything about that story. My cold COVID heart has grown 4 sizes. So
amazing.
Great. Oh, well, Cassie, what did you prepare for our crazy love this week?
Okay. So here's what happened. What happened was I lost track of the days. In fact, I forgot to even post our story stuff when it was Wednesday, when it was so that actually is what shook me into, oh shit, I gotta get prepared for a story, because I was like, I got all week. So here's what happened.
Okay.
I was like, I want to do Love Fraud, which is on Showtime, and it's all about this guy who is a fucking total piece of shit, who has been like fraud.
I've heard amazing things.
I want to watch it so much.
Look, where to fucking even begin? There's a cast of characters. It's numerous middle-aged ladies, one crooked piece of shit, and one badass chain-smoking hustler, who is Carla, who is she is a
bounty hunter?
Yes, bounty hunter. Oh my God.
I've heard a lot about Carla.
Listen, it is 4 full episodes, and a lot of time. And I watched it all. And at the end, I was like, I don't even know how to put this together for a story. It's really good. I highly recommend to watch. And so it's really good, and it's worth watching for the Robert Durst-esque style interview they have with Dude Face at the end.
Oh, you know I love a fucking good Robert Durst burp.
Yep.
I love it.
It's I will let you ladies enjoy.
Did you
that.
see the Jinx?
I watched part of the Jinx.
I fucking loved the Jinx.
This guy, I will tell you, gave me some, like I said, some Robert Durst vibes. And the way that like you're like, motherfucker, you ain't telling the truth at all.
It's amazing how people who are so bad at lying get away with it for so long.
It's wild. Like I'll let you guys watch it. I'm not going to spoil anything.
I'm excited.
So that being said, I was then tasked to put something together on a very quickness because I was like, well, I just spent my whole day watching Love Fraud, and I am now not doing this as a story. So I went to one of my old faves, which is one of my favorite things to do, which is watch something on Oxygen.
Yes.
When in doubt, Oxygen or ID, they got you, boo. They got you, boo.
You guys, I was on the phone with Spectrum for an hour today because we have high-speed internet with them, and we confirmed the transfer for tomorrow for our move. And I was like, Eric and I had talked about it, and I was like, I need Dateline in my life. How can I stream Dateline? Because I'm like, it is worth it for me to pay something monthly where I'm like, I can watch my Datelines, because I'm like, the amount of time that I spend searching for Crazy in Love, and I'm like, at the end of the day, Dateline will always be there for me.
Don't you have
it's
the
so
podcast?
hard to find.
Do you not listen to the podcast? They have them. They update them with the show.
I will start doing that, because I was on the phone for an hour and I was like, okay, add this package to my internet, my high-speed internet.
There should really just be a true crime package that's just Oxygen, ID, whatever channel, Dateline, and 2020 comes on, like 48 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
and we were like, so we're on the phone for like an hour, and they're like, I'm so sorry. Like, so it's going to be an extra $90 a month, which I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Absolutely
to get
not.
all the channels that I want.
Girl,
like,
sign
actually,
into my Spectrum.
We can't do that because you're on a special price for your internet, which is like $10. So I'm like, so really you're going to sweat the $10 that I'm saving a month on your high-speed internet, and I'm about ready to give you $90 a month in order to get your fucking TV, and you'd rather turn around to save your $10. I'm like, bye, forget it.
I feel like, why hasn't, and nobody steal this idea because we're having it first trademarked.
TM.
Yeah. So why hasn't anyone come up with like an app like Shudder? Like the Shudder app is just horror. Like that's all it is. It's all it's for. It's just like horror movies, horror shows.
For true crime,
right?
yeah.
Why hasn't someone come up with an app like that that's just true crime?
Absolutely.
Like I don't understand. People
Keegan,
would pay for it.
You have legitimately like 4 days before we publish it to make it happen.
Oh,
and
no.
we're putting
No
this
pressure.
under the umbrella of My Worst Date, LLC.
Right,
LLC. That's
hurry
right.
up.
I mean, I'm scared.
All right. So,
Okay.
Oxygen, the good old fail safe, and I caught up on some killer couples.
Oh my god, I fucking love killer couples so much.
So here's
it's so
the thing.
bad, but so good.
I typically like to dig deep, so I'm not like telling like the most recent story.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw that first one, and I was like, well, this is what I'm going to tell you guys.
This is where we're at.
So, Alan Lantane is from New Brunswick in Canada. He grows up in a small town.
Ellen is his name?
Alan.
Alan. Okay. I was like, Ellen, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is different. He grew up in a small town in New Brunswick. It's St. John's capital, but it's still kind of a small town. And he is he decides, once he turns an adult, that he's going to move to Toronto to be where he can kind of live his, best life as a gay man. Because, living in a small town as a gay man is not nearly as exciting as living in a city where can be
Toronto
fully accepted.
Is huge.
Exactly.
I've never been to Toronto, but
You've
it's
never
like,
been?
no, but it's like on my list because I'm
that's cool.
like, Toronto seems like a blast. Like it seems like a fun place. It's like it's like a New York for Canada, right? Like a New York City situation.
It's,
Ish? No?
yeah.
Wow, it was the most unconvincing I've ever heard.
Sure. I mean, yes, it has a city feel to it. It's so hard to compare anything to New York. I see what you're saying. Toronto is a cool city. It has got a lot of really cool stuff, and there's a lot to do. I will tell you that actually one of my favorites, I have so many cities I love in Canada. I will tell you, I really liked Ottawa. And I know that people will be like, what? But it's the capital city, and I love capital cities. And I loved Montreal. Like, I think Montreal is just such different. It's so special. I don't know. Anyway.
I can't wait to travel again, long story short.
I know this is where I'm at. Okay, so anyway. So he is, moved there again to be in a place that he could be more accepted in the gay community. This is kind of where he flourished. There he worked his way up in the hospitality restaurant world. He, went from anything from like catering to waiting tables, and he worked his way up into, kind of landed a really cool position as an accountant for the restaurant chain that he had been working for. So it kind of reminds me of Christina a little bit, like has worked their way up from, being a server through the whole thing. I love that.
And it's hard to do because I feel like so often companies try to hire outside and they don't want to, for whatever reason, they don't want to like move people up from inside. So it is a big deal.
There's such a negative connotation towards people in the service industry in quote unquote real jobs that I wish if we talked about nothing but periods in this on our podcast, I'd be super happy.
We would still have just as much content
because it makes me angry because I feel like people that work in the service industry have to be problem solvers in the moment. They have to, there's so many skills that they have to learn that would make them so amazing in an incredible amount of jobs. And yet the second someone sees a server as the last thing on someone's resume, it gets thrown into the garbage bin, and it's classist. I think it's classist.
It absolutely is.
Hugely.
Weirdly, I feel like the United States doesn't value practical experience at all as much as they value like a piece of paper from a university because it's
Which is
like
ridiculous.
I mean, it is ridiculous because it's like a lot of people in a lot of jobs, every job you have brings you a new skill set,
And
right?
having said that too, I will tell you it's much different to live an experience of creating a quick math solution to something in real life versus reading it on a piece of paper.
Right.
It is so different. Having just took a test today with multiple word problem, math quit problems, I was like, wait, I'm really good at math. Why is this stumping me?
Some
and it's just
people are
like in real life,
incredible.
I'm really quick and logical and fast and solution driven and I'm able to come up. But like so many of them, I was like, wait, why am I stopping to think about this? Because I have to like kind of process it.
Very smart people are not good at testing, which is what determines your success in a large part. So I know we're
also money.
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Eat the rich.
Money.
Anyways.
Hashtag eat the rich.
So he's worked his way up to a successful career as an accountant for this restaurant chain. In 2004, at 46 years old, he meets his like dream guy.
I love that.
29-year-old Demitry Papasotiriou.
I'm not going to love it for very long, I'm sure. But I love it that he's 46 and he met his like, yay, it can happen
He
for
met
you.
his match. Demitry, who's originally from Greece, had moved to Canada and became an attorney. He is extremely smart. They talk about like one of the guys on the show was like saying like he was had like degrees by the time he was 16. Like his guy was insanely smart. Like he was or like had graduated by the time he was 16. Something wild, like intelligent beyond
Got
belief.
a
right?
Doogie Howser. All right,
A real Doogie Howser, exactly. After only about 4 months of them dating, they got married. They were like, this is it. you're the one. Here we go. I'm in love. They get married. They settle down into an apartment, like in an up and coming neighborhood in Toronto. And they're super happy. And they're taking their time. They're putting together their house. They're renovating because this is an up and coming area. They're spending, their time and money to really renovate this place and make the space their own. During this time, Alan loses his job. Well, doesn't lose his job. What happens is they downsize his job. So he's making quite a reduced amount of money, right?
Ugh.
So this is we're talking around 2008-ish, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how it affected Canada,
No.
but the recession in the United States.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. And it really impacted the restaurant industry. So, yeah, that makes sense.
definitely. Well, and so at that time, that's exactly what's happening. And so he's having to take on secondary jobs just to make bills, make payments, and just to be able to make as it is. And also, besides taking some catering gigs, he also gets a job with the university, doing accounting for them. So he's doing okay, but it's not he's not feeling like he was when he was able to just kind of have this one career and really solid, right?
Yep.
Also at that time in 2008, Demitry, his husband, is, like I said, he's quite the squalor. Wow. Quite
the squalor.
The scholar. And he gets an opportunity to get a PhD in law studying in Switzerland, in Lucerne, at the school there.
Fancy.
So, yeah, no big deal. That's how smart
Do you
this
know how
motherfucker
fast
is.
I would leave to go to Switzerland if somebody was like, we have an opportunity for
Immediately.
you? I'd be like, deuces, goodbye. Yeah.
As soon as you said, I have a, and I've been
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, it would be like one of those cartoons where it's just like
Just dust.
dust.
Yeah, before things get real handmadey around here.
It's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, I'll take Switzerland any day. Ready? Let's go. Alan, though, he decided to stay in Toronto because, again, they're renovating their home. He wants to be there to oversee these renovations on their home. And this is 4 years into their marriage. And the whole plan was for Demitry to go overseas for his studies and return to Toronto to work in Canada, right? So his plan is go there, do that, do your thing, get your degree, come back, earn your money, right? Because he's going to
build a life here.
right. That was his whole plan, is he's building a life together.
Somehow I feel like this is going to go awry.
Okay, I can't wait for you to find out how. 2011, it's March. Alan's good friend hasn't heard from him for a few days and reaches out to his work. They haven't heard from him either. So she's concerned. So she goes to the house. No one's responding. So she calls the police and she's like, wait a second. Hi, my friend who always responds to me. I haven't heard from him in a few days. This is very suspect.
Good friend.
So, yes. Great friend.
Yes. That's what you should expect from your friends.
That's exactly right.
I need everyone to stop. Examine your friend group right now. If you have to pause this podcast, do it. Examine your friend group and see which amongst your friends would call somebody
Yep.
if they hadn't heard from you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And if the answer is none of your friends, then you need to drop all of those people and get new friends.
Get you some new friends.
Your friends should care enough about you that they are all up in your shit. I mean, not completely, but to the point where, if they haven't heard from you in a certain amount of time, that they will alert somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most definitely. There was definitely times where I was like, Christina, I'm about to cross over the hill.
We had full on,
I'm getting in my car.
All of us girls, this is not hyperbole.
No.
All of us girls had a text thread. There was, I think, 2 times where that text thread was used where we were like, who's heard from Christina? She had a date last night. I haven't heard from her since 7:30 p.m. We're concerned. Okay.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And as much as you don't want your
and if you don't answer that
friends-
safety check, and I'm talking soon. And how many times, Christina, tell it truthfully, did I, when I was like safety checking, you're like, I'm fine. Was I like, oh, really?
Follow up
blah, blah,
question.
blah, blah. Follow up question.
That's right. I mean, honestly, I don't think that it is, some people might think that it's extreme, but I don't think it's too extreme to have a conversation with your girlfriends and to develop a safety word. Do you know how many conversations Anthony and I have had about like developing a safety word? For like if you're in a situation where you need help but you don't feel like safe to say that you need help.
Oh yeah, like Eric and I have one, but then again we've been watching multiple seasons of Criminal Minds.
So much Criminal Minds.
That's right.
Girl, same. My dreams are Criminal Minds now, honestly. It's wild.
I marry Reed in my dreams and things are great.
I'm at the, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Anyway.
Fuck them.
This show's been on for
the show's been on
long,
forever.
like-
But I'm at the he's in prison season right now, so.
I
don't love it.
I'm at
angry.
minus Derek Morgan season.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. Wait, how did I pass you? Neck and neck.
Yeah. I packing, moving.
Oh, you moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, all right. You can't just spend all your time watching Criminal Minds.
Okay.
Well, fine.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, you got like Borg. Cool. Must be nice. Rub it in. Anyway, so the police do show up. They come to his house. Nobody's answering the doors, and they're like, okay, like honestly, this seems like a problem. And so they decide that they're going to actually break into the home to make sure that Alan is not like see what's going on. They find Alan deceased immediately. They break into the back door. They find him on the floor by the front door, with injuries to the back of his head. Wounds initially seem to indicate bludgeoning. It is quickly determined it was foul play, and the cause of death was blunt force trauma. There is no evidence of a forced entry nor robbery. So the police are like, well, maybe he interrupted a robbery. Maybe he came home and the robbery was in progress. They freaked out. So, they're like going through all the scenarios in their head. They're like, what could this possibly be? And at the
somebody
time,
that knows him because he let them in the door.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. They're like, the police are, basically are like, there's an alarm here. That what they notice right away is that the alarm panel, like the thing that's on the panel, what's that? Like little door?
Yeah, the
like
thing
the
that
little,
shuts the alarm system.
Little door on the panel is gone. So that's missing. So they're like, well, that's a little weird.
God, who ripped that off?
Yeah.
Like someone was just like, meh.
So like they know like the alarm is disabled, there's no, of course, again, there's no evidence of forced entry. There's an alarm. It's been disabled. And from the alarm company, they do find out that it was disabled. Wow. Words. Disabled at 5:19, which would have been too soon for Alan's actual arrival at 5:35.
In the afternoon.
Evening, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
Evening,
somebody came in, they knew the alarm code, so they right away know that it's somebody that knows him.
Okay, so your hubby hired someone to go in there and disable the alarm. That's what I would assume. Like, who else knows your alarm code?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody, all of his friends are like, they were extremely private, and no one in the outside of him or his husband,
someone gave
would
it to
know
him.
or have that code at all. So police are also in the process of tracking down his husband, Demitry, in Europe. No one has heard from him. They're trying to track him down. They're trying to contact him at the university in Switzerland. Nobody has heard from him. They can't contact him. And again, also he's the only other person in the world who has the code for their home, right? So Alan's best friend Grazia, who is also she's the one who had gone to the house, who was the one who found Alan.
Grazia, fun name.
I know, right?
I like it.
Grazia. She's the one who called the police when they found Alan. She said when she was interviewed, she was like that Demitry had never wanted anyone even at their home. So his friends would be like, yeah, we never really could hang out with him. So secretly they were privately all kind of like, this is great. So your husband's going to go to Europe for school. Yay. We get to hang out with you, kind of in that way, because I guess Demitry really wasn't somebody who wanted to share his space. He didn't like people over.
So Demitry, the one who went to Switzerland,
right.
He's the one who kind of closed off the couple.
Yes.
He was like, I don't want people over here.
Yeah.
Alan was more social.
Way more social.
Okay.
Super social guy. like had tons of friends. So she was even saying, she was like, like I said, she was like, Demitry never wanted anybody in their home. So she actually, Grazia, who is best friends with Alan, never even had met Demitry.
Whoa.
Could you fucking imagine?
Red flag.
If I never introduce you to Eric.
No, absolutely.
There'd be a major
fucking not.
issue. I mean, honestly.
First of all, I'd be making fun of your Canadian boyfriend.
Can't get for real. We'd be
Fake.
like, I don't think he exists.
He fake.
But Cassie and I would actually have an intervention. We would sit you down and we would be like, there's something wrong, because there's something wrong.
There is something
if
wrong.
you're not going, I understand like wanting to stay in that kind of like private bubble in a relationship for as long as possible, because that feels good to not have any like outside opinion, judgment, whatever. Like that, I understand that. But at some point, if you're going to have a future with this person, especially after you've gotten married, you want to integrate them into your life.
Exactly.
So if you were resisting allowing me to meet that person,
I don't like that.
I would be very concerned that there was something wrong.
Yeah.
I would be very concerned.
Also, 100%, you've made up your boyfriend.
It's either
It's
you've
fake
made
news.
up your boyfriend or he is a
Piece of
fucking
shit.
piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was saying before, so at the time, Alan had been picking up odd jobs, doing extra jobs, catering, doing all this stuff, plus working for this university. So he'd been doing everything he can just to make ends meet. But on top of that, he's also sending money, any extra money that he has on top of like just the get by. He is covering, sending money for Demitry to cover his boarding, his, any cost of living that he has associated with him living in Europe so that he can get his degree. Right. Well, police actually are able to finally track down Demitry. Guess where he's at?
Where?
In Greece.
Well, that's not
He
Switzerland.
had dropped out of the PhD program and was living in Athens.
You
with
didn't
his
tell your husband you
papa.
dropped out of a PhD program? Like, okay.
I tell
I don't
my
even-
boyfriend when I have a really explosive shit in the morning, let alone something as major as dropping out of school.
Well, Christina, not all of us are that open. However,
I'm sorry.
However, like there is no way, like Anthony and I, if it's an important thing you are most likely having an emotional response to, which you would if you were dropping out of school somewhere, if you'd moved somewhere and you were dropping out of school.
What if you're just collecting checks from your boyfriend and you could do whatever the fuck you wanted, I guess?
Oh, God. They need... Okay.
Your
anyway.
much older boyfriend who sounds like... It sounds like trouble. I'm just going to say.
So after being informed, so the cops are calling him, right? They're like, hey, so got some news for you. Just want to let you know, your husband has died. Demitry immediately.
He's like, oh, no, I'm so sad.
No, you'd think. No, what he does do is he immediately gets defensive and claiming that he knows his law, with his law background, he has an understanding of his rights.
My guy.
Which, of course, raises red flags.
As someone who is smart, apparently you're supposed to be super fucking smart. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
So this is the thing about book smarts versus street smarts, right?
Yes.
Right here it is. Book smarts tells you, I got a law degree. I'm smart. Street smarts are like, oh shit, what? I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
He's not emotionally intelligent at all.
Right.
No.
Like you have to be emotionally intelligent to understand that like other people are expecting you to have an emotional
Behave.
response. So if you don't naturally have that response, well, sir, take some Meisner classes and learn how to emote because you're gonna need it.
Yep. And I'm
Right.
just also going to say, like, also, don't talk to the cops because honestly, they're going to try to get you on whatever. But sorry,
my God,
but
this
at
is
least,
his first time hearing. Like, so
Yeah.
the cops are just like, at this point, the cops have no reason to even
fake a
suspect him. He's not
reaction.
even in the same
Fake an
country.
emotional reaction.
They're literally like not even suspecting Demitry at all for anything because Dude Face is not even in the country. So literally they're just like, hey, we wanted to inform you that your husband has died. Hey, brah, guess what? I know my rights because I'm a lawyer and you
played
can't
yourself.
pin anything on me. Wait,
You
what?
played yourself, sir. Like,
Yeah.
because they weren't suspecting you, but now now they are, you
Now
dumb
they are.
piece of shit. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, this seemingly nonplussed, he tells the investigators that he had an open marriage. So, he's like, oh, this is quite shocking.
Did Alan know that?
He had an
Yeah.
open marriage, and they should check into who he may have been dating. Well, that actually does end up being slightly true. So they're not slightly, it is true. Like, they did apparently have a somewhat open relationship when he went off to Switzerland, because they were like,
You're going to be gone for a long time.
you're gonna be gone for a long time. We're gonna
No judgment
open
here.
this relationship up. But so they go through some dating apps, try to see like maybe who he'd been out with, but these leads go absolutely nowhere. Demitry does not return home for the funeral. Red flag number 2.
Wow.
Stating-
Fake it.
Stating that he was capable of grieving from afar.
This is dummy. I don't know why this makes me so mad when criminals are this fucking stupid. Like, I'm just like, have you not seen a single episode of Forensic Files? Like, you can't fake it. Like, literally, this man probably would have been in the all clear. Because I'm pretty sure he's not. But
he's like, extradite me, bitch. Switzerland
and you can't- no,
Greece are not
Greece.
going to extradite to the U.S. if they have
Not
the death
Canada.
penalty.
Greece this is Canada, and Greece does not extradite to Canada. They do not have an extradition
There you
treaty.
go. There you
I
go.
guess in his mind, he was like, this is really smart.
Maybe.
But it's like,
he's
you
like, you can
drew
think I'm guilty all you want. I'm in fucking Greece, bitch.
Okay, but they wouldn't think you were guilty if you were just a better actor.
If you just came to your husband's fucking
Like,
funeral.
honestly, watch a Daniel Day-Lewis masterclass and get the fuck like, oh my God. Okay. I'm
At least
furious.
pretend. So at this point, they are running out of leads. They have nothing, right? Until they get a tip that someone is looking into Alan's retirement accounts. Only 3 weeks post his burial,
My
right?
dude.
So the dude identified himself as Michael Jones. This person goes to
Michael Jones.
fill out the forms to claim benefits, and when asked to fill in the cause of death, the man writes bludgeoning, which is a detail not released by the police.
Wow.
And only someone involved
I'm so sorry.
or a police officer would know this
Why
fact.
am I so mad that
You were
this
so
person
mad.
is so stupid?
Because
so
he's
mad.
accumulated so many pieces of paper to say that he's smart, and us over here, we're like, what are you?
Not a college degree among us, and
Exactly.
We're like, are
And
you
we're like-
fucking kidding me?
It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Who would
I
do
know.
that? Who would do
Well,
that?
I'm going to tell you who. So, his prior employer had also received an inquiry. So, this restaurant chain that he had worked for also got an inquiry of insurance benefits from someone called Michael Ivezich. Look, I even pronunciated that. Look,
I do that
Ivezich.
all the time in my notes.
This name leads to a man who's had, so Dude Face uses his real fucking name. It leads to a man who's had many run-ins with law enforcement, including fraud. Hi. When found, Michael claims to be working on behalf of Demitry. Like, bruh, I'm
Shocker.
He
just
came
here.
clean immediately.
I'm
He's like,
here.
I'm not trying to cover your ass at all.
Listen.
I will flip on you so fast.
He asked me to, in his behest, do this for him, right? In fact, he had a signed and notarized letter from him. Wow.
Fuck. Now you're getting a notary into this. It's
I know,
like if
you
I
can, like,
like
legal
called
paperwork.
Chris up
Yep.
and I'm like, hey, can you notarize this hit I'm gonna do?
Oh my God. Like, I'm appalled. I think I might be more. No. Okay,
So the
never mind.
police don't really have a whole ton of stuff to go off of, but what they do are definitely like, okay, well, hi, this is Soup's suspect. And so they are starting to surveil Michael. And suddenly, during the surveillance, bro vanishes. The whole idea was that what they were trying to surveil for is kind of like what they did with the California killer. What's his name? GSK.
The Golden State.
Golden State Killer. Whereas they were trying to like get a piece of his garbage or something like that they could get DNA off of.
My
because
favorite thing about detectiving is like just like getting a random piece
Yes.
of rogue trash and testing it.
And this is what they were trying to do, because one of the things that happened during Alan's murder is that he actually got some scrapings under his fingernails of whoever did this to him. So they did actually have DNA to look for, right? So they're trying to find this DNA match. While working with Homeland Security, they realize that Michael, so he's in the wind, but they're working with U.S. Homeland Security, and they realize that Michael has landed in Boston and has planned to travel to Athens, Greece. Wow.
What?
Interessante.
What a random place to go. That
cool.
I mean, why would you want to go there? No reason.
Well, they decide they're going to interview Michael's wife.
I bet Michael's wife is like, what you want to know? Let's
And
fucking
she
hate this guy.
Is exactly that.
Of course.
She's like, let me break out the Sanka and Entenmann's. We're going to get...
Girl, break it out, because here it goes. While interviewing Michael's wife, they discover that Michael was having an affair with Demitry. She had been keeping a journal of his activities.
I want to read that journal.
She had everything. She wrote it all down. When he left, where he was, what times, what places, where he was going.
Oh, bitch. But also, can I say that relationship sounds exhausting? Like, just leave him. But
Girl,
in this case,
also her grass is immaculate because she is vacuuming it every single day,
honey.
Not a speck. Not a speck. So also, besides this, like, they can't really use any of this information they get from her because, unfortunately, she's married to Broface, and that would be using, like...
Can't you waive that? Can't you, like, choose to waive that?
I don't think you can.
That's some
Even
bullshit.
in Canada, apparently.
That is some bullshit.
I know.
If you're like, no, I actually hate my husband and I would like to tell
But
all
that's
the
also a
things.
problem, because then that's also a problem. What if you just hate your husband and you want to just tell a bunch
but you
of shit?
can hate anybody.
Well, this is true.
Like,
In a
just saying.
recovery
But you
email, though,
can't
they
hate
do...
anybody the way that you hate your husband.
There, the way that you hate your cheating husband.
Cheating on you. Not only, like, just fucking... You have kids. So, okay. Sorry, I don't want to skip ahead. All right. In a recovered email that they find between Alan and Demitry, it is revealed that someone named Michael in this email had access to a key to their home. So this is an email between Michael and Demitry and Alan, in which Alan's like, hey, why the fuck does this Michael guy have a key to our fucking house? Yeah. They also learn that not only could Demitry benefit from the $50,000 worth of retirement but Alan also had a $2 million life insurance policy, which was solely in Demitry's name.
As much as I want to, like, take care of my family, I'm like, low key, we're never having an expensive insurance policy on me.
You know what?
I don't want you to be rich and
cremating.
happy when I'm murdered and
No,
dead.
I don't need any motivation.
Honey, you're
to get
cremating
rid of
me. You ain't got much burial expenses. Calm down. Anyway, unable to get a DNA sample from Michael, they were able to obtain a sample from one of his sons.
Oh, I love this shit.
So what they did is mom and the kids go out to dinner and they grab a chopstick from son and we're like, let's test it. And it is conclusively his father. Whoever's DNA is his father is the person who did this.
Also, I kind of want to know, like, what does Demitry look like? Like, can he get it? Like, why? No?
Oh, no. Demitry,
is he hot?
Not really. He's kind of creepy and plastic dollish looking.
Interesting. Okay.
But Michael, Alan, actually best looking of them all.
All right.
I think. I mean, personal
It's always
feelings.
the way it goes.
I know. Anywho, conclusively link to Alan's death with the help of Interpol. They they can't extradite either of them from Greece, but what they can do is flag both Demitry and Michael and put warrants out for their arrest. So basically, like, if you move, we get you. Michael is eventually arrested. And again, without the extradition, they're just going to have to wait again for Demitry to try and travel outside of Greece.
Wait, so where was Michael arrested? In Greece?
No, I think he was flagged from like some type of like he was going to travel somewhere.
Well, that dummy.
Yeah.
Why would you go anywhere?
Exactly. I was just going to say, if you were already in Greece, which supposedly from what I hear, it's like in my top 5 travel places.
Ugh, I want to go there
Same.
so
Same,
bad.
same.
One of the most beautiful places. You'd be like, oh,
Anthony
so I
doesn't
can't
wanna go
leave
there.
the
It's
most beautiful
annoying to
place
me.
ever.
No, that's how I feel.
Oh,
I
my
want to
God.
go to the beaches, like
Oh,
so
I want to see
badly.
those white
They're
roofs. I
so
want to see the
gorgeous.
Acropolis.
Okay,
I want
so
to
we're
see,
gonna
okay.
go as like a group trip because Anthony does not
My
want to go
worst
to
date,
Greece, and I've been
tour in
trying
Greece.
to convince him for like 4 years.
I
so,
am so all about Greece, 100%.
word.
Same,
Let's do
same,
it.
same, same, same. I love
All right.
history. All right. So, 9 months later, police are notified. So, this is like 9 months. They already got Michael, right? They're notified that Demitry has landed at Pearson, Toronto International Air
Motherfucker. Why would
Port.
you go back to Canada, you dumb bitch? Like, why?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Demitry was back to fight for Alan's death benefits.
Oh, you idiot.
Money.
You greedy, stupid idiot.
Both employers refused payment without a deposition hearing. Greed and hubris brought him back to Canada. November 2017, though, finally, Demitry and Michael faced charges in Alan's death, and after nearly 7-month trial, they are both found guilty and given life.
Of course they
Yes.
are.
But wait,
No.
the convincing attorney, Demitry, though, after only 3 months, appeals on the case for circumstantial evidence. He's saying, like, you guys really have nothing on me. This is all circumstantial. You have no...
For Demitry, because there's no DNA evidence linking
That's
him
right.
to anything.
He's released on bail,
Shut your fucking
on
mouth.
house arrest, awaiting his appeal trial. So that is currently the situation.
Wow.
am furious. You know what? I am also I'm extra furious because these people were so bad at criminaling.
You are so bad at criminaling.
They're so bad at it that I'm like, how the fuck did this guy get out after being so blatantly bad at being a criminal?
Dude, you cannot cough right now without having accidentally watched a true crime show. And I'm
True.
shocked that he was that bad at being a criminal.
So bad.
I am angry about this situation. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
appalling.
Yeah.
It's appalling. So basically, he's just waiting for his trial.
It's also appalling because you know the reason why he's out right now. And I don't mean to eat the rich twice in one episode, but I
Get
am
it, girl.
going to.
Money.
It's because he had money for a fucking lawyer. So hashtag
he is
eat
a
the rich
lawyer.
a second time.
Right. Fuck this motherfucker. And this is the thing
Flip
too. It's
table.
it seems like the guy is rich already. Plus, then he's like, I really need this $50K. Plus, I'm also going to want that $2 million. Plus, and just like what?
And it's
Greed.
It's greed. I
Greed.
mean, it's what we've talked about. I mean, when we've talked about billionaires on this show, a lot of times I sent you a thing, Christina, or I tried to, where it was like they tried to spend Jeff Bezos' money and they did all of
can't.
these things and they didn't
You
even
can't.
break they barely broke the billion level because he has so much money. I feel like people like this. There's a certain breed of human being who everyone likes money. Everybody needs money. It's just a fact of life.
But
However,
the
there are
vast
certain
majority
people,
of us, they literally have proven, beyond a certain point, your happiness does not increase the more
and
money
even
that
if
you have.
Even if you don't know that, so you're trying to incur more money. I understand it, but there are certain people who have a weird, unusual relationship with money because you have to be someone who's hoarding money, who has so much money that they can't possibly spend it. Your relationship to wealth has to be so warped to be able to do that. And this person, I mean, it's not Jeff Bezos level, clearly, but this person, their relationship with money is so fucked up that they're not even thinking clearly. They can't even make rational decisions. That's so wild to me.
They're fucking modern day dragons. you know?
It's wild. It's so wild. Wow. Well, that was a good one. And I'd never heard of it. Yeah, that was amazing.
I was like, I don't like to pick the one that's like right on top. I'm getting this one.
But I never heard of it. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I never heard the story either.
That's
crazy.
Great. Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys watching this week?
Well, first of all, I have two things to share. One is that Keegan shared with us how amazing it is to have an electric razor in their life, that I bought one and used it today. And I'm
Do you love it?
I'm so happy.
Oh my God. I haven't used any. And look, of course, you're going to get a closer. You're going to get a closer shave if you use a regular razor.
It's silk.
But my life has changed using an electric razor. It really has. Like, that's what I use 99.5% of the time.
Here's what I find is it gives you that like afternoon day after you've silk shaved. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Oh, because we don't
like, I just don't want to like look like I have a big hairy beast hair legs.
We don't need it to be perfect nowadays.
Right. You're not touching me
most of the time. And it's actually better. It's better for your skin, ingrown hairs, all that shit. I will advocate for it till the day I die. So, it's the best.
Solidly here for it. Got an electric razor. The other thing I want to tell you about that I am watching. Okay. So the other thing I'm super excited about is that, okay, so you guys know how much I love Anne of Green Gables.
We do.
It's a thing. I love it so much that I've owned it on VHS multiple times, DVDs multiple times, Blu-rays like I've had all of the layers, right? And so then I had to purchase it because the only way you can purchase it is through the Sullivan store, like their app, or I'm sorry, their website, right? So you'd have to watch it through their website, which is fine, which I just watch it on my phone if I wanted to. They have an app now. You can have that app on your Apple. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You can have it on your
jumping up and
Apple
down.
TV. So did I or did I not download that Gazebo app on my Apple TV so that I can watch Anne of Green Gables trilogy anytime I want? Yes, I did.
Yes, that are just comfort. And like, I love that for you. I love that journey for you. There are just things that are comfort. And
it is comfort.
We need that in these trying times.
Anne of Green Gables is my hug. Oh,
yes,
full hug. And I just want people to know, because I know we have a lot of Anne of Green Gables fans, funny enough, because I do hear it from them. That is an app. It's the Gazebo app. You can download it and you can purchase the films. You can have them and watch them anytime you want. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. I told you guys I've been in Move Central. So it's been all Schitt's Creek and Criminal Minds in the background. So
Perfect.
Like Murder and fucking Moira. And it's
love it. Love it. Love it. Love
the best.
Murder in Moira.
Okay, so I have a few things. So I'd already seen this, but Anthony had heard it on a podcast, and we, like scary movies. So Anthony was like, we have to watch this. And I'm like, I'm totally down to watch it again. And I feel like I am the resident horror movie like expert on this podcast. So I will say, for the sake of that, Anthony and I watched Train to Busan, which is a Korean movie. It's in Korean. You have to read the subtitles. But I watched it when I was in Korea the first time. And then I watched it again, and it is a zombie movie. It's a Korean zombie movie where they're stuck on a train where there's a zombie outbreak. And it is very good. And so I would suggest it. However, if you are trying to escape the awfulness that is this entire timeline, like what's happening right now is so fucked that I cannot express to you the sheer joy when I opened Netflix and I saw that there was a new episode of a couple of things. There was a new episode of Great British Bake Off.
Yes.
I can't believe it. I can't wait.
Which I did fucking watch, and I am so happy.
Did they bring back Mary Berry, or was I hallucinating?
No, they didn't bring back Mary Berry. So it's Prue and Paul Hollywood, and then they have a new the guy from Bridesmaids, who's the brother to Rebel Wilson.
Oh
He's one of the new hosts.
Nice.
So there's like 2. Yeah. So it's great. And it's funny because it's just like they've basically created their own. They don't go into it too much, but they created their own like baking village because they wanted to be able to have the show. So they picked the contestants. They took them to this village. They all live there together.
Oh my God.
And they've quarantined for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And then they started shooting. So like,
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
they did all the things to make it safe. And it's just between that and what I'm about to talk about next, which is another like British perfection icon. Call the Midwife is also back on Netflix.
Yes.
So excited.
And did I watch the first episode of Great British Bake Off and then follow it up with the first episode of the new season of Call the Midwife?
How could your soul feel?
Did. And my soul felt like it was getting a warm, kind, soft cashmere hug. That's what I felt like was happening
Like a
to
heated
me.
blanket of made of cashmere.
Yes, it was like a weighted blanket of love. Like I was so happy.
My soul is excited just knowing.
Yes.
It was what I needed. Like I needed Great British Bake Off, which is just wholesome love, and then Call the Midwife, which is just like emotion, but like in a beautiful, pure way.
Yeah.
That's what I needed because I was literally feeling like, okay, nothing matters and the world is on fire and everything sucks, which is true. But if you can escape it for 2 seconds by watching these shows, I highly recommend.
Yes.
I recommend it.
I'm
it.
here for it for sure. I need a little warmth like that.
Do it.
Especially excited to watch Call the Midwife on. So I ordered this couch. And
The couch is beautiful.
I thought it was a normal size couch. It's actually rather large. So
It's perfect for your space.
yeah,
You need a large couch. Large couches are great.
But yeah, so I'm like, this is Mecca couch, and I'm excited to watch that on my new Mecca couch. So
There's something I don't know even how to describe what it is about Call the Midwife. I don't know what it is, but it is the most comforting thing I've ever seen.
It reminds me of, like I was telling you last week about reading Dickens. It's kind of like there's something velvet.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I feel about like Call the Midwife or Great British Bake Off.
well,
It's
because
velvet.
people always make the moral decision.
Exactly. It's not true, which is what I thought when I was watching it. I was like, okay, everybody who lives in this town is like kind and respectful, like for the most part. And if they are a shitty person by the end of the episode, they've usually come around, which is not
very not
the
Dickens.
way that life works.
No,
but
it's
it is
not.
what we want life to be. And so it
Exactly.
feels good
Yeah.
to watch people just be kind,
How
like
people
empathetic
could
human
be.
beings.
How
Yeah.
people could be.
It
Yeah.
feels good. So if
Yeah.
you just need that, I know it's not real. I know it's like a bunch of screenwriters writing this, but if you just need to restore that feeling that like humans are okay, please watch that show.
This is such a good point. Oh my gosh. Well, if you guys have shows that we should watch, if you have stories to tell, if you want to just reach out or watch our YouTube stuff, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.